Here, try
Winter hit
this.
Chicago like a
It's
hammer.
good. Thank you.
10-year-old James Anderson had been homeless for exactly 14 days when he finally accepted he was going to die. His mother's overdose had left him alone. Foster care tried once. The Hendersons said he was too difficult.
Here, take this
Though
coat.
really he was
It will
just
keep you
traumatized
warm.
and grieving. They returned him after 3 days. The system, overwhelmed and understaffed, lost track of him in the shuffle. So James survived on the streets, sleeping in doorways, digging through restaurant dumpsters, stealing bread when he could. By day 14, he couldn't walk straight anymore. The hunger made him dizzy. The cold made his fingers purple. He found Riverside Elementary School by accident, drawn by the sound of children laughing. Lunch recess. He collapsed outside the fence, watching kids eat sandwiches and play tag. They looked so warm, so safe, so alive. A teacher noticed him. "You need to leave. You're scaring the students." James tried to stand. His legs buckled. He fell hard on the frozen ground. The teacher walked away, afraid and unsure what to do. James lay there, giving up. Nobody cared. Nobody would help. This was how it ended. Then he heard a voice. Small, young, concerned. "Hi, I'm Chioma. You look very hungry." James opened his eyes. Through the fence bar stood a black girl, maybe 9 years old, with braided hair and the deepest brown eyes he'd ever seen. She wasn't scared of him. She was looking at him like he mattered. "What's your name?" she asked. James tried to speak. Nothing came out. Too weak. Chioma pushed something through the fence. A lunchbox. "Take it, please. It's okay." James grabbed the sandwich inside with shaking hands. He devoured it in 4 desperate bites, tears streaming down his dirty face. A small apple, a juice box. He ate everything, even licking the crumbs from a napkin. "Thank you," he whispered when he finished. His voice sounded broken. "What's your name?" "James." "Are you okay, James?" He shook his head slowly. "No, I'm dying." Chioma's eyes filled with tears. "Not today. I'll bring you lunch tomorrow, too." James stared at her in disbelief. "You will?" "I promise. You won't die. I won't let you." The bell rang. Chioma had to go. She looked back 3 times as she walked away. James sat clutching the empty juice box like treasure. First food in 3 days. First kindness in 2 weeks. First hope maybe ever. He whispered her name. "Chioma." The next day, Chioma came back. And the day after that, and the day after that, her family lived 3 blocks away in subsidized housing. Her grandmother, Mama Adana, had immigrated from Nigeria decades ago. Chioma's parents worked 3 jobs combined just to pay rent. They had a baby boy named Kachi, just 1 year old. Breakfast was oatmeal. Lunch was school provided. Dinner was rice and beans, and sometimes there wasn't enough. But Mama Adana had taught Chioma something important. In WM, we may not have much, but we always share what we have. That is our culture. That is who we are. So Chioma shared, every day, her entire lunch. By day 3, Mama Adana noticed Chioma packing extra food. The wise woman didn't ask questions. She just quietly put more food in the lunchbox. By week 2, the whole family knew. They worked extra hours. Her father took a 4th job. Her mother doubled her shifts. They made more food so Chioma could keep feeding James. "Why are you doing this?" James asked one day as he ate. "Because you're a child. Like me, like my baby brother Kachi. You deserve to eat. People walk past me every day. Nobody stops." "I'm stopping," Chioma said simply. They talked while he ate. She told him about school, about the books she was reading, about her family. He asked good questions. She realized he was smart, despite everything. "You should be in school," she said. "I tried, but I have nowhere to live. No clean clothes. No address. That's not fair. Life isn't fair." "Then we make it fair," Chioma said with the confidence only a 9-year-old could have. "One lunch at a time." By week 3, other kids noticed. They started teasing Chioma. "Why do you feed that dirty white boy? He's probably dangerous." "You're so weird." Her friend Blessing pulled her aside. "People are talking about you. Just stop." "No." "Why not?" "Because he matters more than what people think." Week 4, Mr. Peterson, a teacher, caught her. He was going to report it. Liability issues. School rules. But Chioma begged with tears in her eyes. "Please, sir. He'll starve. He has nobody. Please don't stop me." Mr. Peterson looked at James through the fence. Really looked. Saw a dying child, not a rule violation. "I didn't see anything," he said quietly. The next day, Mr. Peterson started leaving extra snacks in Chioma's cubby. He never said a word about it, just helped silently. Then winter got worse. December brought temperatures down to 10 degrees Fahrenheit. James sat outside in a thin jacket he'd stolen from a donation bin. No hat, no gloves. His lips were blue. His hands were purple. Chioma saw him and made a decision. During lunch, she ran home. She grabbed her winter coat, her father's gloves, a wool scarf, and a blanket from her bed. She ran back and pushed everything through the fence. "No," James protested weakly. "You'll be cold." "I have another coat at home," Chioma lied. James was too cold to argue. He put on the coat. It saved his life that night when temperatures dropped to -5. Chioma shivered through recess in just a thin sweater for 2 months. She got sick, fever, terrible cough, couldn't breathe well. Mama Dana was terrified. "And WM, where's your coat?" "I lost it." Mama Dana knew she was lying, knew where the coat went. She didn't punish Chioma. She just held her granddaughter and cried. "You have the biggest heart, my Chioma." Week 5 of winter, James developed a severe fever. He was coughing blood. He couldn't stand. Chioma was terrified. She'd tried so hard, and he was still dying. She ran home crying. "Mama Dana, please. The boy is dying. Please help." Her grandmother immediately grabbed medicine. Expensive antibiotics they'd been saving for grandfather's infection, along with soup tea and extra blankets. For 2 weeks, Mama Dana and Chioma nursed James through the fence. They brought medicine every day. The antibiotics cost $80, a fortune for them. Grandfather needed them for his bronchitis. "Save the boy," Grandfather said. "I'll manage." James slowly recovered. Chioma cried with relief. 6 months. 180 days of daily feeding. Through fall, through brutal winter, into spring. Even days Chioma was hungry. Even days she was cold. Even days she was sick. She never stopped. Her family became $2,000 poorer. But they gained something priceless. They saved a life. James gained weight. Started to look alive again. Could walk without stumbling. Could think clearly. "You saved my life," he told Chioma. "You're my friend, James. Friends help each other. I've never had a friend before. You do now." Month 6. Social services finally found James a proper foster placement. The Johnsons, a family in the suburbs. Good people. Stable. Mr. Peterson told Chioma. "Tomorrow is James's last day. They're taking him to his new family." Chioma's heart broke, but she was also happy. He'd be safe. On the last day, she brought everything she could fit. 3 sandwiches, 2 apples, cookies, crackers, juice boxes. "I wanted you to have enough," she explained. James was crying. "I'll never forget you. Ever. I'll never forget you either." James looked at her with absolute seriousness. "When I grow up, I'm going to get rich. And I'm going to marry you. I promise." Chioma laughed through her tears. "We're just kids, James." "I don't care. I mean it. You saved me. I'm going to come back for you." Chioma reached up and pulled the red ribbon from her hair, her most precious possession, given to her by her late mother. She pulled out scissors and cut it in half. She tied one half around James's wrist. "So, you remember me, so you know somebody cares about you." James touched the ribbon with reverence. "I'll never take this off. Not ever. I promise I'll find you again." They held hands through the fence one last time. The social worker arrived. "Time to go, James." James walked away, looking back the whole time. Chioma watched until he disappeared around the corner. She tied her ribbon half in her hair and whispered, "Be safe, James. Have a good life. Come back someday." She walked home and found Mama Dana waiting with baby Kachi on her hip. Chioma took her little brother and held him tight. "I saved someone today, Kachi. I saved a life." Baby Kachi giggled and grabbed her nose. Chioma kissed his head. "I'll always protect you too. Always." She had no idea that 22 years later, this same baby brother would be dying on streets just like James. And James would be the only one who could save him. 22 years later, James Anderson woke at 5:45 a.m. in a penthouse that cost $8 million. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked Lake Michigan. Sunrise painted the water gold. He didn't notice. He never did. The apartment was sterile. Expensive furniture, but no photos, no personal items, no evidence anyone actually lived there. It looked like a showroom, felt like a tomb. A $9,000 Italian espresso machine hummed on the counter. James pressed a button and walked away before the cup filled. He did this every morning. Wasted coffee daily. His closet held 50 tailored suits, each costing $3,000. He grabbed one without looking. Everything was expensive. Nothing was meaningful. The apartment was silent, always silent. No music, no television, no life. James walked to his home office and unlocked a special drawer. Inside sat a small glass frame containing a faded red ribbon. This was the only thing in the entire apartment that mattered. He touched the glass gently. The ribbon was 22 years old, carefully preserved but still deteriorating. "Where are you, Chioma?" he whispered. Same question. Every morning. 22 years. No answer. His phone buzzed. David Chun, his business partner. Board meeting 9 a.m. Chun Properties deal closed. $18 million profit. James texted back. Good. $18 million. He felt nothing. He opened his laptop to a folder labeled Chioma Okeke Search. 5 years of active searching. 3 private investigators. $437,000 spent. Results? Nothing. The last investigator's report 3 months old. We've exhausted all leads. Chioma Okeke is difficult to trace. Nigerian immigrant families often have incomplete records. Family appears to have moved multiple times. No current address found. Recommend discontinuing search. James refused to stop. He pulled up a map of Chicago. 12 red pins marked properties he owned, all within 2 miles of Riverside Elementary School. His logic was simple. If Chioma was still in Chicago, she'd be in that neighborhood helping people. That's who she was. That's her heart. So he bought buildings, developed them, created affordable housing and job programs, hoping that if he was there enough, helped enough people, somehow he'd find her, or she'd find him. The board meeting was predictable. Congratulations all around. Another successful quarter. $47 million in profit this quarter alone. James's company was worth $52 million total. Everyone celebrated. James smiled and said the right things. Inside, he felt nothing. Money meant nothing without finding Chioma. After the meeting, David pulled him aside. "Man, you okay? You seem distant." "I'm fine. You've been saying that for 5 years. Ever since you started this South Side obsession." Silence. "James, I'm your friend. Why South Side? We're barely breaking even on those properties." "I have my reasons." David studied him carefully. "This is about that girl, isn't it? The one you've been searching for." James's jaw tightened. "Drop it, David. Maybe she doesn't want to be found. Maybe she moved on. Maybe she doesn't even remember you. Have you considered therapy?" James walked away without answering. Back in his office, James stared at the ribbon in its frame. "I'm not crazy," he said to the empty room. "She saved my life. I owe her everything." His phone buzzed. Calendar reminder. Community meeting, Southside Community Center, 7 p.m. tonight. Anderson Development's proposal presentation. James usually sent representatives to these community meetings, lawyers, PR people, but something made him pause. A feeling he couldn't explain. He typed, "Cancer representatives. I'll attend personally." David texted back, "You sure? Community meetings can get hostile." "I'm sure." James didn't know why, just knew he needed to be there. This decision would change everything. Meanwhile, across Chicago on the south side, Chioma Okeke woke at 5 a.m. in a small 2-bedroom apartment that cost $800 a month, money she could barely afford. The apartment was modest but filled with love. Family photos covered every wall. Mama Dana's Nigerian fabrics hung as decorations. The place smelled like jollof rice from last night, but it was also chaotic. Case files scattered everywhere. Bills stacked up. Overdue electric, medical bills she couldn't pay. On her desk sat a photo of Riverside Elementary School's fence. She visited sometimes to remember. Around her neck hung a locket containing her half of the red ribbon. She'd worn it every single day for 22 years. But something was wrong this morning. The couch where her brother Kachi was supposed to sleep was empty. He hadn't come home last night. Again, Chioma's heart sank with familiar terror. She checked her phone. No messages from Kachi. She called him, straight to voicemail, the 12th time this week. "Kachi, it's me. Please call me back. I'm worried. Please be safe. I love you." She was exhausted. She worked 2 jobs. Social worker at Southside Community Center, making $42,000 a year, and weekend shifts at the hospital as a receptionist at $15 an hour, 70 hours per week trying to support her brother. But Kachi wouldn't let her help, wouldn't come home most nights, was hanging with gang members. She was terrified he'd end up dead or in prison. Chioma got dressed in her professional outfit, worn but clean. Her shoes had holes. She couldn't afford new ones. Makeup couldn't hide the dark circles under her eyes. She grabbed instant coffee, couldn't afford Starbucks, and stale bread for breakfast. She opened her locket and touched the faded ribbon piece. "James, wherever you are, I hope you're happy. I hope you made it." She closed the locket and headed to work, unaware James was in the same city, searching for her desperately. At Southside Community Center, Chioma was immediately swarmed by people needing help. "Ms. Okeke, my son needs housing." "Ms. Okeke, they're kicking me out of foster care." "Ms. Okeke, I need food assistance." She helped everyone, took every call, stayed late every night. Her co-worker Blessing, her childhood friend, shook her head. "Girl, you need to slow down. You're going to burn out." "I can't slow down. People need help." "You can't save everyone, Chioma." "I can try." Blessing sighed. "You've been trying to save everyone since you were 9 years old. That white boy you used to feed. Remember him?" Chioma touched her locket. "Every day." "You think he remembers you?" "I don't know. I hope he's alive. I hope he's happy. He probably doesn't even remember your name." That hurt, but Chioma didn't show it. Afternoon brought a crisis. Her phone rang. Unknown number. "Is this Chioma Okeke?" A police officer. Her heart stopped. "Yes. We have your brother Kachi here. He was involved in an altercation. Minor injuries. You need to come get him." Chioma's worst fear. "I'll be right there." At the police station, she found Kachi sitting in a chair with a black eye and a cut on his lip. He was 18 now, tall, skinny, angry. The officer said he got into a fight. Other kid pressed charges and dropped them. He's free to go. "But ma'am, this is the 3rd time this month." "I know. I'm sorry. I'll talk to him. He needs help. Real help. He's heading down a bad path." Chioma's eyes filled with tears. "I'm trying." They walked to her beat-up 14-year-old car that barely ran. Kachi was silent, refusing to look at her. "Kachi, talk to me. What happened?" "Nothing." "It's not nothing. You're hurt. You could have been arrested." "So? Who cares?" "I care. I'm killing myself trying to keep you safe." Kachi exploded. "I didn't ask you to. I don't need your help. I don't need anyone. You're going to end up dead." "Then I'll be dead. At least I won't be a burden anymore." Chioma started crying while driving. "You're not a burden. You're my brother. I love you. Kachi's wall cracked slightly. I'm sorry, he whispered. I know you're hurting. I know the system failed you. But I'm here. I'm not giving up on you. Maybe you should. They drove in painful silence. Chioma thought, he reminds me so much of James. Same hollow eyes. Same pain. But angrier. How do I save him? Back at the community center, Mrs. Adebayo, the Nigerian director in her 60s, called a staff meeting. Everyone, tonight at 7 p.m. we have an important community meeting. Anderson Developments want to propose an affordable housing project in our neighborhood. Groans from the staff. Another rich developer wanted to gentrify us out. Mrs. Adebayo nodded. That's what I thought. But they claim this is different. They claim it's actually affordable. We'll see. Who's presenting? The CEO himself, James Anderson. Chioma didn't react to the name. Anderson was common. She didn't connect it to anything. I want all staff there. We need to ask hard questions. Hold them accountable. Chioma nodded. I'll be there. She was thinking about Kachi, not the meeting. She had no idea that in 6 hours, her entire life would change. The boy she saved was coming. The promise would be kept. But first, he'd have to prove he was real. The boy she saved is coming back. After 22 years. But can he help her angry, difficult brother? Or only help grateful people? Is he real or fake? Smash that like button. Subscribe because reunion is next. Turn on notifications. James arrived at Southside Community Center at 6:50 p.m. The building was old, chipped paint, flickering lights, broken steps, but clean and well-loved. Inside, 60 people filled folding chairs. Families, elders, young activists, all watching him. James straightened his $5,000 tie. His expensive suit felt completely wrong here. At the registration table sat a Nigerian woman in her 60s. Name, James Anderson. Anderson Developments. Her expression shifted from neutral to guarded. The developer, you actually came yourself. Yes, ma'am. Most developers send lawyers to face us. I'm not most developers. She handed him a name tag, clearly suspicious. We'll see about that. James walked into the room. Heads turned. Whispers rippled through the crowd. That's him, the millionaire. Probably here to push us out. Here comes gentrification. James found a seat in the back, feeling dozens of eyes judging him. Mrs. Adebayo, the director, stood at the front. Welcome, everyone. Tonight, Anderson Developments wants to propose a housing project. We've heard promises before, been lied to before, so we'll ask hard questions. She pointed to James. Mr. Anderson? James walked to front, faced 60 skeptical faces, and opened his presentation. Beautiful architectural renderings appeared on the screen. Modern buildings with green spaces. Good evening. I'm James Anderson. I grew up not far from here. I know what broken promises look like. That got attention. He was white. They hadn't expected him to say that. I'm proposing 200 units of affordable housing, not luxury condos. 70% of units reserved for current neighborhood residents at current rent rates. Surprise murmurs. The community center will be fully renovated. New heating, new roof, expanded services, all funded by my company. We'll create a job training program. Hire locally. Invest in this neighborhood's people, not just buildings. He paused. I know you don't trust me yet, but I'm not here to gentrify. I'm here to give back. Hands shot up immediately. An older man stood. Mr. Anderson, what's affordable to a millionaire versus someone making $25,000 a year? Units will be priced based on area median income, adjusted for current neighborhood demographics. We're working with the Housing Authority on verification. A woman asked, what about current businesses? Every development pushes them out. We're offering lease protections, relocation assistance if needed, and priority commercial space in new buildings. More hands raised. Then a voice from the middle of the room. Female, younger, challenging. How do we know you'll keep these promises? Developers always gentrify us out. James turned toward that voice. Time stopped. A black woman, early 30s. Professional clothes, worn but clean. Natural hair in a professional style. Standing with a notepad. Her voice. Something about her voice. Their eyes met. James's heart stopped completely. He knew those eyes. Knew that face. Older but the same. He couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. I grew up in this neighborhood, she continued. I'm a social worker here. I see homeless youth, foster kids. Your buildings mean nothing if our most vulnerable are displaced. James just stared. She was here, after 5 years of searching, after 22 years of waiting. She was right here. Mrs. Adebayo's voice cut through his shock. Mr. Anderson, are you all right? James forced words out. Yes. Sorry. You're absolutely right to be skeptical. He paused. May I ask your name? The woman looked confused. Chioma. Chioma Okeke. Why? The room tilted. James gripped the podium to stay standing. Chioma Okeke, he repeated, barely able to speak. Did you go to Riverside Elementary? About 22 years ago. Chioma's expression shifted. Confusion mixed with something else. Yes. How do you know that? James's hands trembled. Do you remember feeding a boy through the fence? A white boy, 10 years old, every day for 6 months. Chioma went completely still. Her notepad slipped from her hands and fell to the floor with a clatter that echoed in the suddenly silent room. The room disappeared for both of them. James, she whispered. Her hand flew to her chest, to the locket she always wore. James nodded, unable to speak. Chioma's eyes filled with tears. James Anderson? It's me. I came back. I kept my promise. The room erupted. People talking, confused. What's happening? Do they know each other? But James and Chioma only saw each other. 22 years collapsed in one moment. You're alive, Chioma breathed. Because of you. Mrs. Adebayo stood quickly. Let's take a 15-minute break. Now. People filed out, whispering, staring. James and Chioma didn't move. Finally alone, they walked toward each other, met in the middle of the room. I can't believe it's you, Chioma said. I've been searching for you for 5 years. You search for me? Every day. Never stopped thinking about you. Chioma reached for her locket with shaking hands. She opened it. Inside lay half of a red ribbon, faded but preserved. James pulled his keychain from his pocket. The other half, equally faded, equally treasured. They held them up side by side. A perfect match after 22 years. Both started crying. They fell into an embrace, holding each other like they'd wanted to for more than 2 decades. I never forgot you, James whispered. I never forgot you either, Chioma said. They pulled back, both crying and laughing at once. Can we go somewhere private? Talk. Chioma nodded. My office. In Chioma's small office with the door closed, they talked for hours. James told her everything. How foster care had worked out, how he graduated, how he'd aged out at 18 with nothing, and lived in his car for 8 months. Every night he'd touched the ribbon and thought of her. Built his business from the ground up. Made $52 million, but felt empty the whole time. Searched desperately for 5 years. Bought properties hoping to find her. Chioma told him everything, too. How her grandmother had died 2 years ago. Her last words being, that white boy is coming back for you. How she'd become a social worker. Stayed in the neighborhood. Thought about him every single day. Wore the locket for 22 years straight. Never married because nobody compared. They were laughing, crying, holding hands. It was perfect, like no time had passed. Then Chioma's expression changed. Became worried, afraid. James, there's something you need to know. What is it? Remember I told you I had a baby brother? Kachi? He was 1 year old when I fed you. I remember you mentioned him. Chioma's eyes filled with fresh tears. He's 18 now, and he's in trouble. Bad trouble. What kind of trouble? She told him everything. Their parents had died in a car accident 3 years ago. Kachi had gone into foster care at 15. For different homes, some abusive, all neglectful. He just turned 18 and aged out. He was angry, rebellious, hanging with gang members, getting arrested repeatedly. She was working 2 jobs trying to help him, but he pushed her away. She was terrified he'd end up dead. "He reminds me of you," Chioma said softly. "Same pain, same hollow eyes, but angrier, so much angrier." James immediately responded, "Let me help him. I have resources, programs." "It's not that simple." "Why not?" "He doesn't trust anyone, especially not rich people, especially not white people." "I'll talk to him, connect with him." "James, he won't listen. He's not grateful like you were. He's angry at the world." Silence hung between them. "I still won't try," James said firmly. "Where is he now?" Chioma pulled out her phone. She called Kachi. "Can you come to the community center? Please? It's important." "What do you want?" His voice was hostile even through the speaker. "Just come. Please. For me." Long pause. "Fine. 10 minutes." They waited in nervous silence. Chioma warned him. "James, he's going to be rude. He's going to test you. Please don't give up on him." "I won't. I promise." The door opened. Kachi walked in. He was tall, skinny like young James had been, with a fresh black eye from that morning's fight. His expression was hostile from the first second. He looked at James in his expensive suit, and immediately his face hardened. "Who's this?" Kachi asked suspiciously. "Kachi, this is James Anderson. He's someone important from my past." Kachi looked James up and down with obvious disdain. "Let me guess. Rich savior here to rescue the poor black kid." James stood and extended his hand. "I'm James. It's nice to meet you." Kachi didn't shake it. "I don't need your charity." "I'm not offering charity." "Then what do you want?" "Your sister saved my life when I was 10 years old. I want to help her." "And you?" Kachi laughed bitterly. "Of course you do. White guilt, right?" "Kachi!" Chioma warned. "What? It's true. Rich white guy shows up wanting to help the hood. Where were you when I was getting beat in foster care? Where were you when my parents died? Where were you when I needed help?" James stayed calm. "I was building something so I could help." "I don't believe you. You're here for her." He pointed at Chioma. "Not me." "I'm here for both of you." "Prove it." "How?" Kachi stepped closer, aggressive. "You got a job for me? Real job, not charity?" "Yes, in my company." "I don't have a high school diploma. Got a criminal record." "Still offering?" "Yes." Kachi didn't believe him. "You're lying. You're using us to feel good about yourself." "Kachi, that's not fair," Chioma started. "Isn't it? How many James Andersons have promised to help this neighborhood? How many lied?" James looked him in the eye. "I'm not lying." "We'll see." Kachi walked to the door, then turned back. "Sister, when he disappoints you, and he will... Don't say I didn't warn you." He slammed the door and left. Chioma put her head in her hands. "I'm sorry. I told you he was difficult." James sat beside her. "He has every reason to be angry. He's going to push you away until you leave. Then I won't leave." "James, this isn't like when you were 10. You were grateful. Sweet. Kachi is angry at everyone. I would be too if I'd gone through what he did. He's testing you. He tests everyone. Nobody passes. They all give up." James took her hand. "I'm not giving up. On him or you. I promised I'd come back. I'm here." Chioma looked at him with both hope and fear. "What if helping him destroys what we just found? Then we'll rebuild it. But I'm not abandoning him." "Why? You don't even know him." "Because you love him. Because he deserves help. Because I was him 22 years ago." Chioma started crying. "Thank you." They embraced. But outside, Kachi walked into the dangerous night. His phone buzzed. A text from a gang member. "You in or out?" Kachi stared at the phone. He thought about James, about Chioma, about his life. He typed, "I'm thinking." The clock was ticking. He was running out of time. The next morning, James called David. "I need you to create a real job position. Construction assistant, $18 an hour. Benefits, apprenticeship potential." For who? Chioma's brother. Kachi, 18 years old. No diploma. Criminal record. Angry at everyone. David was silent for a long moment. James, this sounds like a mistake. I don't care. We're giving him a chance. What if he steals? What if he's violent? Then we'll deal with it. Find him a position. David sighed heavily. You're doing this for her. I'm doing this because it's right. James texted Chioma. Job ready for Kachi. When can he start? Her response. I'll ask him. But James, prepare for rejection. 2 days later, Chioma brought Kachi to meet James at a construction site. Neutral territory, not a fancy office. Kachi showed up 30 minutes late. Hoodie up, headphones in. You the white guy offering charity? I'm offering a job. $18 an hour. 40 hours a week. Health insurance. Apprenticeship program. Kachi looked around the construction site with obvious disdain. Doing what? Slave labor? Construction assistant. You'd learn actual trades. Plumbing, electrical, carpentry. Why me? You don't know me. Your sister asked me to help. I don't need her help. Or yours. Chioma tried. Kachi, please just try. No, I'm not your charity case. He walked away again. James said to Chioma, I'm not giving up. He's going to keep pushing. Then I'll keep showing up. Over the next 2 weeks, James kept trying. He showed up at Kachi's hangout spots, offered the job repeatedly, was rejected every time. Leave me alone, white boy. I just want to talk. We have nothing to talk about. Meanwhile, Kachi was spiraling. 3 more arrests, more fights, deeper into gang life. Chioma was exhausted, crying every night. James offered money for a lawyer. She refused. You can't fix this with money. Then one evening, a well-dressed white man approached Kachi on a street corner. Kachi Okeke? Who's asking? Someone who can pay you $5,000 cash right now. That got Kachi's attention. For what? Information about James Anderson. Testimony that his housing project is a scam. The man was Marcus Wright, 45, a rival developer who wanted to gentrify South Side for profit. He saw James as competition. Why do you care? Kachi asked suspiciously. Because I'm a real developer. James is playing games with your neighborhood. $2,500 now. $2,500 when you testify at city council. Marcus pulled out an envelope thick with cash. Kachi stared at more money than he'd ever seen. I need to think about it. You have 48 hours. Marcus left the envelope on the ground and walked away. Kachi picked it up, torn between desperation and loyalty. That night, Kachi was with gang members when a drug deal went bad. He didn't even know it was happening. Suddenly there was shouting, then gunfire. Kachi felt a burning pain in his shoulder. He stumbled away, hand pressed to the wound, blood seeping between his fingers. He collapsed in an alley, pulled out his phone with shaking, bloody hand. He didn't call the gang, didn't call 911. He called Chioma. Sister, he gasped. I'm hurt. Help. Kachi. Where are you? Corner of 53rd and State. Bleeding. I'm sorry. The phone died. Chioma screamed. She immediately called James, her voice panicked and crying. Kachi's been shot. I don't know how bad. He's at 53rd and State. James was at a critical business dinner, meeting with investors about a $30 million development deal. His phone rang. The investors looked at him disapprovingly. Mr. Anderson, can you silence that? James looked at his phone, at Chioma's name, at the investors, at the deal that would make him even richer. He made his choice. Gentlemen, I'm sorry. Family emergency. We'll reschedule. The lead investor was furious. This deal won't wait. We have other developers. Then go with them. I have to go. James ran out. Behind him, David was texting frantically, What are you doing? That's $30 million. James didn't respond. He drove as fast as he could to South Side. He found Kachi in an alley, bleeding, scared, looking so much younger than 18. Hey, I got you. You're okay. James pulled off his jacket and pressed it against the wound. James! Kachi was shocked. You came! Of course I came. Ambulance is coming. Stay with me. Kachi started crying. I'm sorry. I messed up. I always mess up. You're going to be fine. I promise. James held pressure on the wound and stayed with him until the ambulance arrived. Chioma arrived at the same moment. She saw James covered in Kachi's blood, holding her brother, and she started crying. You came. Of course I came. They rode to the hospital together. In the emergency room, they learned the bullet had only grazed Kachi's shoulder. Minor surgery. He'd be fine physically, but he was shaken. First time he'd really faced his own mortality. When they were allowed in to see him, Kachi looked young and scared in the hospital bed. I'm sorry, he said immediately. Chioma took his hand. What happened? Kachi told the truth. The gang, the deal, the shooting. Then, and that developer Marcus? He offered me $5,000 to testify against James. James's jaw tightened. Did you take it? I was going to. The money I needed so bad. But then I got shot and you came. You left your meeting. For me. You're important, Kachi. Why? I've been horrible to you. James sat beside the bed. Because 22 years ago, I was dying on the street. Your sister didn't ask if I deserve help. She just helped. She taught me that people matter more than money. I'm trying to live that. Kachi started crying, his walls finally breaking. I don't know how to let people help me. Start by letting us be here. He looked at Chioma. I'm scared, sister. I don't want to die. Chioma held him. You're not going to. We've got you. Kachi looked at James. That job, is it still available? James smiled. Yes, absolutely yes. 1 week later, at the city council meeting about James's development, Marcus Wright stood up with his evidence. I have proof James Anderson is running a scam. He's using a local woman and her troubled brother as props. He showed photos of James with Chioma and Kachi. He's a former homeless kid playing white savior. James stood calmly. Everything Marcus said is true. I was homeless. Chioma saved my life. I am trying to help her brother. But this isn't about me feeling good. It's about keeping a promise. Chioma stood. James has done more for this community in 3 weeks than any developer in 20 years. Mrs. Adebayo stood. He renovated our heating. Didn't ask for credit. Then Kachi stood, arm in a sling. He saved my life. Left a $30 million deal to pull me out of an alley. I was horrible to him. He kept showing up. That's not a white savior. That's real. The room applauded. The council voted unanimously to approve James's project. Marcus stormed out, defeated. 6 months after the shooting, Kachi's life was unrecognizable. He showed up to his construction job at 6:45 every morning, 15 minutes early, completed his apprenticeship training, and got certified in plumbing. His salary increased to $24 an hour. He moved into his own studio apartment, modest, but his. He cut off all his gang friends. Started online GED classes, with James paying the tuition. Most importantly, he smiled now. He'd never smiled before. He sent Chioma half his paycheck every month. For all those years he supported me. She cried every time and tried to refuse. He insisted. James and Chioma officially launched the Promise Foundation. Its mission: comprehensive support for youth aging out of foster care. Housing, education, job training, mental health counseling, legal aid, life skills coaching. James funded it with $15 million. Chioma became executive director with a salary of $95,000. She tried to refuse, but James insisted she deserved fair pay for her expertise. Kachi became a paid peer mentor at $22 an hour, helping other foster youth. The first cohort was 30 youth. Within 6 months, the foundation served 87 youth, 73 in stable housing, 52 in education programs, 41 in job placements, 0 returns to homelessness. Success stories emerged. Tun graduated from welding school and got a job paying $55,000 a year. He called Chioma crying. I never thought I'd have a future. You always had one. Now you have the tools to build it. The media noticed. The Chicago Tribune ran a feature. From homeless to helper, the love story behind Chicago's foster care revolution. The story went viral. CNN picked it up. Social media exploded with hashtag Red Ribbon Promise. People everywhere tied red ribbons to their wrists, committing to help one person in need. Donations flooded in, $8 million from the public. The Illinois governor called personally. James and Chioma testified before the state legislature. Illinois passed a Red Ribbon Act, increasing state funding for youth aging out by $50 million annually. Other cities reached out. James created a free resource guide. Milwaukee, Detroit, Indianapolis, Cleveland, St. Louis all launched programs. By year 2, programs existed in 12 cities, serving 847 youth nationally. 1 year after their reunion, James took Chioma to Riverside Elementary School one evening. They stood at the fence where she'd saved him 23 years ago. A new plaque had been installed. Where kindness began, in memory of the girl who saved a life and changed the world. Hundreds of red ribbons, tied by community members, fluttered on the fence. James knelt on the same ground where he'd almost died. Chioma Okeke, 23 years ago you saved my life at this fence. You gave me food when you were hungry, a coat when you were cold, medicine when your family needed it. You saw me when everyone looked away. He pulled out a ring with a simple red ruby. I promised I'd come back. I promised I'd marry you. Will you marry me? Chioma was crying. Yes, yes, 1,000 times yes. Kachi jumped out from hiding, recording on his phone. I got all on video. They laughed and cried together. Welcome to the family, James, Kachi said. Officially, 6 months later, they held their wedding ceremony outside at that same fence. 150 guests attended. Kachi, clean-cut in his first suit, walked Chioma down the aisle. He whispered to her, Mom and Dad will be so proud of you. They'd be proud of you, too. James waited at the altar, crying. Chioma wore a simple white dress with red ribbon woven into her bouquet. Their vows were simple and perfect. James, you fed me sandwiches. I'll feed your soul. You gave me warmth. I'll keep you warm forever. You saved my life. I'll spend mine making you happy. Chioma, you kept your promise. I promise to always see you, believe in you, and love you, not because you're rich, but because you're real. They exchanged rings with red ribbon tied around them. The kiss brought cheers and tears from everyone. At the reception, Kachi gave a toast. My sister saved a stranger 23 years ago. That stranger saved me a year ago. Now, together they save hundreds. Family isn't just blood. It's who shows up when you're dying and says, I got you. James, you showed up. Welcome to our family, brother. Everyone raised their glasses. 2 years after the wedding, the foundation had served 1,247 youth across 34 cities. Chioma and James still ran it together. They were expecting their first child, a daughter they planned to name Adana, after Chioma's grandmother. Kachi was now program director, promoted twice, earning $68,000 a year. He was engaged to Amara, a former foundation participant who'd become a nurse. He'd been sober for 3 years and mentored 40 youth personally. One afternoon, Chioma and James returned to the fence. It was now a memorial site, covered in hundreds of ribbons. The school maintained it and taught children the story. They tied a new ribbon for their coming daughter. A young girl approached, maybe 8 years old, wearing tattered clothes. Excuse me, are you the ribbon people? Chioma knelt down. Yes, sweetie. What's your name? Sarah. I'm hungry. Can you help me? Chioma and James looked at each other. Full circle. Of course we can help you. Come with us. They brought Sarah inside, got her food, called social services to ensure she was safe. As Sarah ate, James pulled out his keychain, still carrying the original ribbon piece after 23 years. He tied a new ribbon around Sarah's wrist. Keep this. Remember, someone believes in you. You're going to be okay. I promise. Sarah held the ribbon tight. Thank you. When the social worker took Sarah to a safe placement, she waved goodbye, clutching that ribbon. That evening, James and Chioma sat at home. Chioma pregnant and glowing, relaxed on the couch. James sat beside her, hand on her belly. We found another one today. Sarah, the cycle continues. Forever. Our daughter will know the story. She'll know her great-grandmother Adana, who taught us to share, and her father, who kept a 23-year promise. On their mantle sat the original ribbon halves, framed together, photos of foundation participants, their wedding photo, Kachi's graduation, a family built on promises kept. If you're struggling, don't give up. Your help is coming. If you can give it. A sandwich, a ribbon, a promise. That's all it takes. Smash that like button. Subscribe to Africantales by Zion. Share this story everywhere. Comment about kindness that changed your life. Hashtag Red Ribbon Promise. Love keeps its promises. Thank you for watching. God bless. The end.